Wow, it's felt like forever ever since I've gotten the opportunity just to sit down and talk with you guys and, kind of let you know how things are going or maybe where the channel happens to be heading. That second one rings pretty true to this video. That's what we're going to be talking about a good bit. There's some changes coming, and I'm going to try to get to them as concisely and as quickly as I possibly can as to not take up too much of your time today. Now, 2016 was an absolutely terrific year for us, and 2017 certainly has really paled in comparison as far as content on this channel. There's been a lot of series that have been completely neglected, only a couple of episodes of 5 Reasons or 5 recently released, which were very much beloved by many of you. I understand that, and there have been many album reviews that really just look like they've been outright ignored or just not done, even for big ticket names, and that is 100% on me. 2017 has been a challenge for many different reasons. Trying to navigate YouTube's new advertiser-friendly system, which causes Dying Fetus's new album to be censored from ads just based around its title alone. Either that or things that are on the outside of YouTube, things in my personal life, things that I've had to do to kind of keep myself afloat and moving, or learning new things about why certain injuries and certain things that are going on health-wise are present. And it's certainly been a long journey whenever it comes to both of those aspects. But one thing that we've done that has been fantastic this year has been our streaming. Whether it's just, sitting down and chatting or having a cause such as the Slay Cancer Streamathon, either that or the one-of-a-kind 50-50 stream, we've done some really great work for some very cool and very good causes, and the Slay Cancer Streamathon is just wrapping up with over $2,500 in all donated. It's just a fantastic feeling, not to mention it shows the power that heavy metal has to potentially do some good, and the streams have all been a lot of fun. I would love to see more of you there. And that's the first change, is that we're going to be transitioning away from YouTube whenever it comes to the streaming and heading over to Twitch, twitch.tv. For those of you who don't know what Twitch is, then you should definitely get on board. As far as streaming is concerned, this is the daddy-o right now, the big boss, the one that certainly has a lot of great things that are helping content creators and streamers a lot more than a platform such as YouTube. YouTube seems to be lagging a little bit behind in the times and is now sort of trying to rush their way into being in a place that's very similar to where some of their competitors are. So instead of being the innovator, they no longer have that tag. Instead, they are the follower, which is not a good thing. It's something that could potentially provide help in the future. However, that is not right here and now, and this is right here and now something that has probably been needed to be done and has been preached about for the majority of 2017. So if you go over to twitch.tv, you can actually sign up for that website. It's absolutely free. And then go over to twitch.tv /coverkillernation, which the link is currently on the screen for you, and follow the channel and make sure that you enable your notifications. One nice thing about Twitch is that every time a streamer goes live that you like and have those notifications enabled, you'll receive an email. And I know that all of you guys have an email address, even if it's not something that you're using all that much, and it's probably connected to your cell phone. So just make sure that those emails can be seen, and you'll know anytime that I go live. Now you might wonder what we're going to talk about on Twitch, since it's traditionally used for gamers. Well, I have been a gamer all of my life. There's some videos actually on the channel, which was CKN's Game Night, and a lot of you guys have asked me if that was ever going to happen again. And I've always wanted it to happen again, but I was really dismissive toward the guerrilla style that we employed in order to get some of those recordings. It's definitely felt a little bit like we were, pedestrian by comparison to some of the others. So, Twitch has that platform for gamers. We're going to have the technology for gaming, and I definitely have the library, so we're going to go and do some of that. It's not going to necessarily be the only thing that we do, though. I have other plans to have a full-scale podcast, simple podcast-like, I guess, that occurs and is recorded directly right there on Twitch, with the format being that we discuss a topic for a little bit of time, whether it be a half an hour or longer. Really, time is of no construct. It can be literally as long or short as we want. Get to some of the albums that were released over the past week, discuss them, maybe not necessarily review them with a score, but at least talk about them and, really get the word out for some of these bands, because it's not necessarily just going to be the big boys. I want to also regain the focus on some of the bands that need the attention from the underground. And then finally, the last portion of the show, basically be a little bit of Q&A from the audience. Very similar to having users call in on a radio show, only doing it in the format of looking at the Twitch chat, selecting a question, and then answering it right there on the air. Whether it be something about heavy metal or music or just my personal life in general, it really doesn't matter. The one thing I am going to try to avoid a lot on Twitch is speaking a lot about the world that surrounds us, with a lot of the things that have been going on recently and future events that may occur. Unless it's a musician's death or a music-related piece of news, it's something I'm going to try to keep to a minimum. Mostly because whenever it comes to all of these tragedies, the script is really the same almost every single time. It's actually what makes it kind of repetitive, kind of boring, and absolutely obnoxious. It's why we're always constantly asking the question, how is this still happening? Why are we still realizing, or not realizing rather, that these are things that could be prevented, or at least have, it's still sad, you know what I mean? The script is very simple. You introduce what the topic is, you offer your revulsion for whoever did it, and then you offer thoughts and prayers to the families, the friends, and those who knew the victims. It's something that we've seen 1,001 times before. And while it is nice to showcase that you do care, and you have that platform on a thing such as YouTube or Twitch in order to display it, it is something that sometimes can cause some pretty fierce debates. And we're traditionally a music channel, and we're going to be turning into a bit of a gaming channel, so that doesn't really, I guess really mesh very well with talking about current events all the time. Although the current events is something that we certainly want to pay attention to, considering it does affect us in other ways, aside from just, having to offer our thoughts for people who passed away. The second change that's coming that is also pretty big is right here on YouTube, and that's with the content that you're going to be seeing. The uploads that you see on YouTube are going to be a little bit more sporadic, kind of like what you are seeing right now. I don't know how much longer I'm going to be doing album review style videos. It's a format that, again, like talking about current events and tragedies, has kind of really become a bit dull on me. I love talking about music. It's something that I enjoy quite a bit, and I've done this for 8 years, and it's just finally reached the point where there needs to be a little bit of a change to the format. I thought maybe changing the scoring and getting some graphics up would really do the job, but it's really starting to become a little bit monotonous. But again, like I said, I love talking about this stuff. This is not me throwing in the towel to reviewing, but it's instead me just basically telling you that a new format needed to be born in order for everything to feel fresh once again, as far as, from my side, my creative drive. Because I've noticed that a lot of the reviews that I've had in the past couple of months have felt a little bit obnoxious. They felt a little bit repetitive. I feel like I'm saying the same things over and over again, even whenever I'm expanding my vocabulary. It just doesn't feel the same way as it maybe has felt in the past. Some of that excitement, some of that fire is just dissipated, principally because the format itself is very much the same thing every time, which no doubt is one of the reasons why some of you will only tune into certain reviews, but so many of you will look at top 10 or top 5 lists, topic videos, and other things that seem to be outside of the realm of the conventional album review. And that's what this channel, I think, is going to be focused on once we hit the new year, 2018. I think we're primarily going to be a channel that has top 5s, top 10 lists, hopefully some 5 recent releases, the 5 Reasons series, and other things that kind of examine heavy metal and music from different directions, as opposed to just directly talking about the albums themselves, outside of the podcast format, considering that seems like it's going to be a way for me to talk about many bands over the course of a period of time, as opposed to really trying to divide my time and expand my time and really try to cram my time into just focusing on maybe 3 or 4, just to try to get 3 to 4 videos out. Basically, it's a way to kind of condense things a little bit. Allow me to work on these projects with a little bit more dedication and give me a little bit more of a time frame in order to maybe add some things to it. Considering I will have some new technology at my disposal, there's a good chance that the quality is going to increase by leaps and bounds. At least that's what I want. And once that occurs, then the sky's really the limit. So I know that those of you who really want reviews done are probably a bit disappointed. But know that if something is requested and, it's something that I feel really has great potential, I may still do a casual review every now and again, once 2018 hits. And some of the bigger releases I think I'm still going to talk about, or things that I found to be rather interesting among my journeys. Albums that really deserve some of the, credence and the praise that perhaps they're getting, or perhaps deserve some of that credence and praise because no one else has heard of them. But yeah, the format's going to be a little bit different around here, and I'm sorry for those that are going to be very disappointed by this. And I know that you're even furthermore going to be disappointed with the fact that the top 50 albums of the year is probably going to be condensed as well. Whenever you take a look at the playlist for 2017 album reviews, it's a short one. It's not one that's yet hit 100 videos, and not all of those are just album reviews. Some of those are track reviews. So really, whenever it comes to the number of albums that I've reviewed on the channel, there's not a lot. And based around that, I feel like a number such as 20 or 25 may actually have to suffice, simply based on the lack of content to really go by. I like the rule that I have to review an album in order for it to be placed on the list with limited exception, so this is a rule that I want to continue to enforce. And based around that, we definitely have to limit the number that ends up on the top list. And also, it kind of enhances that list. Instead of getting a bunch of albums that are just sort of hovering, you get a nice condensed version of the top 20 or the top 25. I think that 50 may have gone a little bit too far. The videos were a little bit too long, and did take quite a long time in order to make, even though it seems like it was very, very basic. It's a bit of a time-consuming edit, so shortening up a little bit will certainly help out. Not to mention, if there's any tricks or stuff that I can add, I'll have the time in order to do that. I do apologize to everybody for 2017 being such a slog. And I apologize even further to those that listen to these changes and automatically feel that the channel is no longer for them. Either that, or those of you who feel that I've just completely abandoned the album reviewing gig or doing all of this and, feel that I've abandoned you in some way. That's really not the intention of this whatsoever. The intention is actually to try to enhance the content, to make it better, and also to add in something else that I've loved for a long period of time. Something that has felt a little bit vacant, something that has been, part of my spare time, but very seldomly, and more times than not, I've been staring at my games list, wondering when I'm ever going to have the opportunity to play them. So I'd like to split my time a little bit more. Does this mean that every single stream on Twitch is going to be gaming? Well, we've already established, absolutely not. And there's going to be some streams where I just want to sit down and talk with you guys about metal. But I want to have that opportunity to have something else on the screen while we do talk. I want to have that opportunity to expand not only the audience, but also perhaps filter into something that you have loved for a long time also. In a way, I hope that through this we're able to learn a little bit more about one another and become a little bit closer as a community. Right now, there is a very close-knit part of the community that attends the streams that are currently on YouTube every single, couple of days. There's about 30 of us that are extremely close, that are able to converse, not to mention do some really great things. I'd love to see that number jump up. We have a few more streams on YouTube that are going to occur before the hop to Twitch happens. And the hop to Twitch is going to be, with a bang, as the 12-hour Slay Cancer Streamathon finale is going to be the premier stream over there on Twitch. So it's going to be big right out of the gate. However, we will have a couple of vanilla streams until that happens, and that's right here on YouTube. It's, I believe, youtube.com/live/coverkillernation or something of that variety. That link's going to be either on the screen or downstairs in the description box. If you feel like these are changes that aren't for you and do decide to leave, know that I have nothing short of a billion apologies for you for that. And I want to wish you the best on everything that you decide to do outside of this. Whether it is just as a fan of music or as a fan of metal, I hope that you will continue your heavy metal journey and continue to quest to discover new bands. But I also hope that most of you will decide to stick around and embrace some of this new content, considering it is going to be some new things. There's going to be new ideas that breed from this. This is a great fresh start that I'm extremely excited about, and I would love for you to be on board. I'm extending my hand, essentially, to welcome you aboard this brand new ship that's going to cruise to some different locations, find some different things that we've not necessarily talked about ever before, and do some things that we've never gotten the opportunity to really experience before. So I hope that you'll be willing to really come on board and at least give it a shot. And if after a little bit of time you realize that it's not for you, don't worry. We'll pull into a port somewhere and, drop you off. Thanks to everybody who has supported me these past number of years. You guys have been absolutely terrific. The fact that we have 66,000 subscribers is pretty awesome. I still would love to see that number rise and grow up to 100,000. That's the number where I'd probably be happy with, and then, if I ever decided to quit, I'll know that I at least accomplished something. So for all of you who have been here for a long period of time, perhaps since the start, you have nothing but my sincere respect. I love the fact that a lot of you have stuck around so long. I honestly didn't think that the things I said or the antics that I did were all of that great. But you guys found something from it, and some of you have even said that you've been inspired from me, which is still something that just blows me away. Either way, I appreciate each and every one of you, including those of you who may decide to walk away from the channel, or those of you who already have. Everything that I've done, I've hoped to entertain you a little bit, or at least provide you with some information. And if at any time I have failed to do so, then please accept my sincerest apologies. Thanks to everybody who is here now, and thanks to everybody who has been perhaps here in the past and is no longer here. Without all of you, this thing hasn't grown and become what it is today. The name, Cover Killer Nation, doesn't mean what it means today. We were in a fucking top 10 Watch Mojo video, for Christ's sake. We've done great things, and we're going to continue to do great things. Please come along with me on this journey. I love all of you, and I'll talk to you guys next time.